Welcome to the hottest real estate topics on the planet, keeping you up to date with all the creative ways to buy and sell real estate without bank qualifying, so anyone can build real income starting today. Here is another great show with Dealmaker Bill and Pete the Rookie.
All right, here we are at another episode of Flipping Houses for Rookies. You would think after 300 and soon to be 12 podcasts, we would change that, but it hasn't been that way.
If you keep doing the same thing, nobody will notice.
Oh, yeah.
It's only when you change, they start noticing. What was that?
Oh, okay.
It's the consistency.
Maybe I need to change then.
No, just consistency. It just flows like water.
Here we go. Episode number 312. That's 312. The title of this episode is, Are You Losing Deals in Creative Real Estate Because You're Not Using the Valuable Number 3 Correctly? Oh, boy. Here's the description. The magic number 3.
Mm-hmm.
3 little pigs. 3 wise men. Goldilocks and her 3 bowls of porridge. 3 branches of our United States government, legislative, executive, and judicial. Today, we're going to talk about the reason for this and why you will fail if you don't play along with these universe, natural, and basic laws. The Greek philosopher and Greek mathematician, Pythagoras, I said it wrong.
Okay, I'm going to go with
Pythagoras.
Pythagoras.
It's not
Pythagoras.
Pythagoras.
Pythagoras. Oh, I know the dude.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I practiced that word like 4 times too, and I didn't do it.
It's all the accent. It's all in the accent. Where's it go? Yeah, sure.
Pythagoras believed the number 3 was considered the perfect number, the number of harmony, wisdom, and understanding. It is also the number for time, past, present, future.
Wow.
How about life itself? Birth, growth, and death. Cycles of action, start, change, stop. In this philosophical podcast, you will soon see how your creative real estate career could change with a slight viewpoint shift by using the rules of 3. Stick with us on this strange creative real estate episode, and you will soon be linked to hope and optimism with a look at a brighter future and wisdom you may just need in today's very, very chaotic arena. Let the power of 3 be with you.
Okay, I just have to ask one question because I know the dude Pythagoras, he had a lot to do with triangles and right angles and all that stuff. What made you think of this? Where'd this come from?
You're not going to believe me, so I'm not going to tell you.
That's what I have to totally believe. The crazier, the more I believe you. Come on.
So, the backstory. Peter wants the backstory.
Where do you come up with this stuff? Come on.
Well, I definitely lay awake at night or wake up in the middle of the night with it. That's for sure. And it's not a fun place to be up in this noggin, okay? Because sometimes I got to struggle with my own self. And believe me when I tell you, I'm not easy to deal with. Actually, it's a kickoff of Napoleon Hill's Mastermind. And unbeknownst, I probably shouldn't say this because it's very, very premature. But Sean, my other partner, and I, as you're aware, because you were with me and my attorney the other day talking about it, have partnered with the software company called Creative Real Estate. REI Reply. The new company is going to be called Creative REI Reply.
Yep.
So one of the things that I've noticed is even though I've gone over numbers and I've gone over all my due diligence, the highest value to me. Now, don't get me wrong, because you heard the numbers. The numbers are good, right?
Yeah.
And I've been wanting to do a software company for a while because we use software to get all our leads, and we use it in our coaching group. And it's made a huge difference with all the training I do and all that stuff when you actually have push button, do it for yourself stuff. So I can set it up, give it to you, and I know it works.
That's
Okay.
right.
It's my way of trying to educate our coaching group. But more importantly, I just started thinking about the mastermind group and the power of 3. So I just decided to I'm going to go do some research on the number 3. And then I don't know, I just kind of got swallowed up in it, and for a few days, and here we are. But the honestly, anyways, you'll see by the end of the podcast. The end of the podcast, we'll finish this conversation. Okay.
Good. All right. Very good.
So first of all, there's a link in the chat. I'm not going to tell you what it is today. There is a link. It's not in the chat. In the description of wherever you're watching us or listening to us, there is a link there that is incredible. So you don't want to miss that. If you want to retire early, you'll go to that link because there's a system there on how you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, wherever you're watching us or listening to us, please subscribe and or give us a review or a like or anything like that. Let us know. Every Thursday morning, 9:30-ish a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we live stream this because we actually pre-record this on a Thursday. We upload it to the podcast platforms on Monday. So every Thursday morning, if you would like to join the podcast or join the conversation, you can go on to either Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter, and you can put in wherever they allow you to put comments. You can put comments. I have a big screen in front of me, and I will answer your questions as long as they're pertaining to the podcast. If you have other questions, you can go to flippinghousesforrookies.com/support, or just go to flippinghousesforrookies.com, and top right-hand side, there's a support ticket there. So just send those to me. I answer them myself directly. So if you have any questions about anything, you can go there. Lastly, you can get into our I don't talk about this enough. We have a WhatsApp group called Let's Talk Real Estate. So if you have WhatsApp, just go Let's Talk Real Estate. It's a free group, and we have lots. Lately, it's been very active. We have lots of people in there asking questions about creative real estate. And I go in there usually once a day. I don't go in there and answer sometimes I do, but I don't answer every question immediately, but I treat it like a support ticket. I answer those questions. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Enough of that. Yuck. Hey, at least we don't have to worry about sponsors, right? 312 podcasts. We haven't had a sponsor yet. So you got to listen to me for 2 or 3 minutes to tell you about all the homework stuff, all the housework stuff.
That's your exchange.
Here we go. The number 3. I bet, Peter, you and all the listeners are in mystery, which you just asked, are in mystery right now on why a creative real estate podcast would cover such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said in the description, the number 3 was most noted for the Greek philosopher and mathematician. Say, what is it?
Pythagoras.
Pythagoras. Thank you. I'm going to have lots of trouble with that.
And accent on the second syllable.
Syllable. Pythagoras. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
And soon carried into the future with Pythagorean.
Oh, that's the one. Pythagorean. He came up with the Pythagorean theory, but I forgot what it was. It was something about triangles. He's
which were taught the number 3 was the first true number.
Really? You started with 3. You think you'd start with 1 and work your way up?
The belief is there is the first number. The belief is that is the first number focused on geometrical figure, the triangle. 3 was considered the number of harmony, wisdom, and understanding, like I said in the description.
Yeah.
Right. Check out these natural laws. Right. Mm-hmm. So using the 3, like I said, some of them already: past, present, future, start, change, stop, birth, growth, death, beginning, middle, end. Right. It's like
be, do, have.
We do have. I forgot about that.
How about this one, Pill? Me, you, in them.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
That's
I should have checked with you before I wrote my notes. Those are good ones, Peter.
No, it doesn't end. I have a book that just has a whole column of all those things. I mean, you talk about Bill's universe, right?
Yeah.
Well, there's the listener's universe in his own little head, what he's thinking.
Right.
Right. And then there's the combination of all that crazy stuff, making everything you see around you, the universe around you. That's a lot of mess. Look at all that stuff. It doesn't end. But you need to have 3 points to have a space. You can have, if you have 2 points, you got a line.
Right.
You have 3 points, you can have a space,
Right.
4 points is a box, 5 points is a pentagon, et cetera, et cetera. But you need 3 to have like a space.
Listen to Peter. You're showing off your intelligence there, brother.
I went to college.
You went to college to learn that? All right. So we're all familiar with the expression third time is lucky, right? Or third time is the lucky charm.
Yeah, third time is a charm.
Yeah. So heroes and heroines, or whatever that girl's
heroines?
Called. Heroines, there you go.
Not to be confused with the drug.
Yeah.
I always thought that was too much a close comment. So heroes and heroines, yeah.
Often offer 3 choices or 3 tests and always overcome difficulties on the third time. That's the huge lesson right there.
Wow.
Right? They always overcome difficulties on the third time. Do you at least give yourself 3 chances?
Mm-hmm.
Plato divided the Utopia city into 3 populations: laborers, guardians, or warriors, and philosophers, which were the rulers. Right? All colors are made from red, yellow, and blue.
It's true. 3 primary colors. Wow.
Leprechauns or genies give us 3 wishes. Right? The clovers, 3 leaves.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Ancient Egypt believed faith, wisdom, and courage. The Bible has the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost or Spirit, with 3 wise men bearing 3 gifts to Jesus. 3 angels, 3 sons, 3 days in prison, all in Christian Bibles.
No.
Same with Buddha. The Buddha, the Dharma, his teachings, and Sagna. Am I saying that right? Sagna, his followers.
Oh.
Right? I think by now you get the point on the number 3 through the ages. Now let's get into creative real estate.
Yeah, how does that connect now?
I have always done, well, let's just go right in. Let's just continue a list, right? So we're going to do our own list now. I have always done best when I have had at least 3 marketing campaigns going at once. And you and I right now have been struggling with some stuff like that. And this is the reason why, which you asked me, why would I come up with the number 3? And I started delving into this in my own mind. And there you go. We don't have 3 marketing campaigns running right now. Less than 3 marketing campaigns. Now, hear me loudly, because this is not me talking. This is empirical data, which means what has happened from the past, so you can predict from the future. Right? Empirical data, meaning that, because this is what we have experienced, this is what we should do in the future. That's what empirical means, right? That if you have less than 3 marketing campaigns, it is absolutely, positively, most definitely the law of scarcity will settle in.
Yeah.
And neediness. And what I have seen happen way too often, even myself, I caught myself doing this over the last month, is it causes you to try to turn deals, non-deals, into deals. You're trying to do what Peter says you shouldn't do, which is convert from suspect to prospect. The law says we're supposed to find prospects. The natural law says find a prospect, right? And communicate to them.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, the 4 successful actions for every deal is find a motivated seller and communicate to them.
Mm-hmm.
Tell them what you do. We buy houses. Ask them what's needed and wanted. In other words, what would have to happen for me to buy your house today? And then produce or present it, which is pretty much our 7 core strategies. You just find which one works and you give them that offer.
Right.
And if you're a thinker brain and if you're a procrastinator, you will definitely find about 1 bazillion ways to make what I just told you more difficult, so you have something to study and not actually confront the seller and do that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're doing that, then you know who you are. If you have been trying to do real estate for more than a couple of months and haven't bought a deal, you are making it complex. You are making it difficult. You are doing something wrong. Or, which, by the way, it's not or, it's and or.
Mm-hmm.
Because here's the reason why. You have misunderstandings, misunderstood. You should go buy Sean Cloudon's book, The Power of Words, and you should not look at anything else until you have read that book. It's on Amazon. Yeah. It's called The Power of Words by Sean Cloudon, because you have misunderstandings. I have somebody that's in the let's talk real estate chat right now. That's exactly what's happening. I came this close to putting in there yesterday, go read the book. Because they have misunderstood words. They don't understand a concept. And I think the concept is deposit, right? They don't have they have a misunderstood word, and they ask 9 bazillion questions that are, quite frankly, idiotic, because if they just opened the dictionary up and looked the word up in the dictionary, they would not ask those questions. And I know that's freakish, and I don't really care anymore, because I have so much experience with that. But the point is, so if you haven't done a deal, we'll say 90 days, we'll give people the benefit of the doubt. If you run into my materials and you have not done a deal, or at least attempted to do a deal, or at least had multiple offers made in a 90-day period, then you have something wrong. It's not my system. Sure. It's not. The reason why we just partnered up with Creative Real Estate is because he has scoured the country. Literally, he has told me his story to find somebody that has something as comprehensive as what we have. It's simple, it's easy, and it's understandable, and people use it all over. And you are going to soon find out, because we are going to blow up the United States, YouTube, Facebook, with this new software. Because this guy that I'm working with is incredible. He does not think small. Mm-hmm. He thinks very big. Okay? That's the reason why REI Reply is the #1 software in creative real estate, and nobody can touch it.
Yep.
Okay? So getting back to scarcity, if you don't have at least 3 marketing campaigns, you'll have a scarcity in leads. And the next thing that will happen is you'll start to try to take suspects and turn them into prospects. You'll start tweaking your math. You'll start trying to make a deal that is not a deal. And believe me when I tell you, I've been doing this for 21 years, and I just had a gift handed to me.
Really?
Yeah, it's called the pandemic. And what happened was all those mistakes that I made. In fact, I'm in the middle of selling a house that I bought 15 or 18 years ago. I'm in the middle of selling it right now. And it was a little bit dysfunctional. And there's been a guy in it, believe it or not, for 15 years.
Yeah, but on a lease option.
Yes.
Right?
Paying every month, $1,380 every month for 15 years.
Yeah, and I'm saying that because rental people would understand, keep it for years, but a lease option, you don't usually keep it that long.
He had a 2-year lease option, and I never pushed him to execute the option. Oh yeah, by the way, I paid $94,000 for it. It's free and clear now because he paid my mortgage off, and now it's time to sell. It's worth $2.25.
Yeah.
So there you go. The point is that my mistakes for the first time in 21 years, actually it's almost 30 years, but 21 plus years that I've been full time, this is the first time I don't have problem houses that I tweaked the numbers when I purchased, and I regretted it later. I regretted it later. Later on, I was like, damn, why did I buy that house? I knew this. I knew better than this. Why did I do that? But you always push yourself because you're after that damn almighty dollar. You're after freedom.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, you hate to do nothing. You think do something's better than nothing, but if it's the wrong something, it ain't a nothing. It's a negative.
Right.
You find out later, or a problem to make it turn into something.
I'm cranked up about this, Peter. Listen to me. Listen to me. Not enough deals equals broken outflow. Not enough deals equals broken outflow. If you don't have 3 marketing campaigns, a minimum of 3 marketing campaigns, you are a dilettante. That means somebody that just dabbles.
Mm-hmm.
You're a what did I call them last week? A tinkerer. Okay, a hobbyist. You're not an entrepreneur. Only entrepreneurs make money in this business. Okay, entrepreneurs make money. If you're not making money in this business, it means that you don't have at least 3 marketing campaigns and you're not making enough offers. End of story. Make up all the excuses. Tell me in your support tickets with your long stories about how you're different. It's bullshit.
Yeah, you can't argue with the universe. And results or lack of results, you can't argue that.
Nope. I always manage to find a deal or 2 monthly when I'm doing this.
Mm.
Plus, if one market dries up, the others will still feed you.
Mm.
That is out of area owners, for sale by owner, foreclosure, probate, etc. You and I are focusing on, which I have not done in 20 years, foreclosure. Because I believe foreclosure and probate, and you guys, and we have talked about this in great length, foreclosure and probate are always there. Even during the pandemic. And the pandemic shifted our minds, my mind, your mind, drastically because something happened that I have never experienced and nobody has experienced unless you were in 1908 or 1913, the last time we had a pandemic and they shut the country down.
Yeah.
We were getting 200, 180, 200 FSBOs per week and calling them and rocking and rolling. And March, the 3rd week of March 2020, it went down to 25 FSBOs.
Yeah. Yeah.
We scrambled. And I'm telling you right now, my business has not been the same. It has not gone back to that level since 2020, March of 2020.
Yep.
Almost, it's 2.5 years. My business has not gone back to that level. Now, last year was one of the best monetary years I ever had, but that's because I cleaned out my portfolio and sold a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, me too. From the work that happened before, some time goes along, you sell the property, you make money, and it's all good. But then, like, now what?
Exactly. And it'll be fine because the market is turning and we have been talking about that quite a bit, right? All right. I numbered these number 2s. That was the first one we talked about. Always make 3 offers. I'm switching gears. We're on number 3.
Yeah.
Always make 3 offers.
Have 3 campaigns.
3 marketing campaigns so you have enough leads.
Right.
Then next comes always make 3 offers. Vast. That means big, very huge experience. Over and over and over and over and over again has showed me that when you make 3 offers, they always pick the one in the middle.
Well, it's like Goldilocks. Yeah. My porridge too hot, my porridge too cold. Aha.
Exactly. Good point. So we give a low offer, which is a cash number. When we start off with, this is embarrassing, you're not going to like my number, please don't hang up, I promise you I can do something better. And if it doesn't, and to this day I've made thousands of offers, you know that, Peter. I probably made that much since I've been with you, right, for 8 years, never mind 21 plus years. I still get a knot in my stomach. I still get like, ugh, I got to tell them that number.
Yeah.
If it's not embarrassing, if it doesn't make you uncomfortable, if it doesn't draw a little bit of sweat on your brow, it's too much. Then number 2 is give an offer you want them to pick. And then number 3 is give a very high number, but long term, so they don't want to wait that long. Now, I want to clarify something here because this is very important. I just gave you the 3 offers. You're going to give her super low, then you're going to give the offer you want in the middle, and then you're going to give the 3rd offer, which is really high but long terms.
Right. And the 2 other ones are terms deals, because they take time.
Right.
Yeah.
So the point that I'm trying to make is that you don't give them in that order. You start off with the low cash, uncomfortable, I'm sweating, I'm sorry, pound your head with the handkerchief on your forehead, like, oh my goodness, I'm embarrassed.
Yeah.
The next offer you release to them is the high number, which is, well, if you want your full asking price, I might be able to beat that by 10 or 20 grand, but I want a 20-year mortgage.
Yeah.
And I want to make these payments. Well, I don't want to wait 20 years. Okay. And then the 3rd offer, which is really number 2, which is in the middle. Well, if you want, I could probably do a little bit better if you give me 10 years or 7 years.
Yeah.
Or if you let me pay, sometimes you're going to give them a slot deal, and you'll tell me if you want that number, I can do no less than 2 years, which means you'll wholesale the lease option to your end buyer. That's what a slot deal is. Right. The point is it's the middle offer. So you give the low number, then you give the really high, ridiculous number with long terms, and then in the middle. And if you're me, that's the one where you're going to try to get subject to.
Oh yeah, right.
Which means taking over the mortgage, keeping it in their name, and you make payments until. And those deals, we get 20, 30, 40 years on those deals because they're not getting any money from the transaction, so they just let you pay it off forever. You would be amazed at how clever. What I just told you, you would have to pay some of the other guys 30 grand to figure out in the coaching groups. Because what I just told you, which sounds so simple, and because you haven't paid for it, you might think is not valuable because you're listening to me for free right now. I'm telling you what I just told you is extremely tested and proven. There are hundreds of hours and thousands, tens of thousands of dollars lost for not doing what we just talked about. Hundreds of thousands of dollars lost in my world for not doing that. And it's not just me, because I've also done this with my coaching clients. I've done this with my own staff. I've done it myself. And oh yeah, by the way, this is like shit in a horse. Once it comes out, you can't put it back in. Okay? So once you make an offer, it's like shit in a horse. Once it comes out, you can't put it back in.
Yeah.
Okay? So the truth is that you gotta be organized in your own mind, and the numbers don't mean anything. Which, by the way, I want to stop for a second. I want to stop. I'm going to put the brakes on. I'm going to put my notes down, and I'm going to stop for a second.
Whoa, trigger.
Exactly.
The horse. Get it? The horse.
Let's not talk about the horse, okay? What are you trying to tell me? This is horse shit, Peter?
No, you started the horse shit analogy. I'm just making the horse stop for a minute.
Okay.
By the way, my granddaughter's out in Ohio. She's 10 years old. She's out in Ohio with her aunt on a horse ranch, riding horses every day, cleaning them, picking up the poop, cleaning the poop out of their hooves. I've seen her do it.
And she must be excited.
She's enjoying herself. So there's a place for horses in the world, but it's not in real estate. So what's your point here, Mr. Hawthorne?
I have just run into something absolutely, completely, utterly, I don't even know the words. There's not enough adjectives for me to say. Incredible. Unbelievable.
Yeah.
And I did this because I helped somebody else with their coaching group, which I will remain nameless because I don't want to take away from him.
Yeah, we don't want to make salad dressings. It wouldn't taste right.
Right. The definition of an offer.
Oh, okay.
What people think an offer is, and I was astonished. I was almost faint.
Good thing you were sitting, right?
Right. Because people have this concept that this offer is like this big formal thing, and like you have to get dressed up and go to the party and drink champagne, and then at the end of the night, drop it oh, by the way, at the end of the night, after you do this formal presentation and you do all this stuff, it is not that way. So let's just do a quick role play with
Mhm.
you and I, because I know we did this last week. I'm going to keep doing this because I want people to understand the simplicity of giving an offer. An offer is not something formal where you put it down on paper and you send it, you send it with the carrier. This is not a Paul Revere type of thing where he's like on the horse running through the town shouting, offer, 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 come get your offer, right? Or the newspaper boy in the corner of a New York street saying, come get your newspaper.
Offer,
right?
offer, get your offer here.
Yeah, exactly.
Extra, extra.
So Peter, how much are you asking for your house?
We're asking $297.
Okay, so how did you come up with that number?
Just checking some of the values of the house in the neighborhood and a couple that sold over the last year or so.
Okay, good.
Similar to mine.
Okay, so you're pretty certain that that's the right number.
I think so.
Good. When you sell and go to the closing, what are you expecting to walk away with? How much do you see on the check?
Well, minus realtor fees and all that, I think like 279 or something like that. 275 maybe.
Good. Would you consider selling to me for that price?
The 275?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Ding, ding, ding. I just made an offer. Let's continue.
Mm-hmm.
Would you consider taking payments for that until I can pay you off?
Payments.
Monthly payments.
Monthly payments. I guess it depends on how long.
Okay. Well, a lot of times we like to do 30 years, but we will do less if we have to. Have you ever thought
30?
about how long? Yeah. What's the longest you think you could do?
I'm not going to live that long. Longest. Well, I would feel comfortable with, to get that price, 5 years maybe.
Okay. So ding, ding, ding. I just made another offer, or I'm about ready to make another offer. Peter, what if I gave you the 300,000? Would you go like 15 years?
10.
Okay. So if I give you $300,000, I can make monthly payments for 10 years?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to know what the payment has to be, a reasonable payment.
Okay, so we're just going to stop there for right now. But we just made 2 or 3 offers. I want to make it very clear that it is an offer to me, which I should probably come up with a formal definition of this, but an offer to me is you testing, taking their temperature. That's what we call it, taking their temperature. I'm taking your temperature. Are you hot or are you cold on the idea of taking payments?
Bill, you had a good word that you were using one of the other podcasts. I think you're just calling it like a proposal.
Yes.
Right? Because proposal is like, what do you think of? It's not like, here's the number, take it or leave it. It's a moving target between you and the other guy until you find the number that might work for both.
So to your point, is the proposal is making offers, and it's very casual and it moves. It's not a hardcore offer. By the way, when you say you'll take 300 and you'll take so much a month for 10 years, we put that on a memorandum and send it to them. And once they sign it, you have a deal. It is no longer an offer. You have a deal. You're going to legal. You're going to closing. You're going to get it in your name.
So you go from proposal to offer accepted, written on a memorandum to make it real.
Yep.
Okay.
And the difference is the difference. Well, let's back up on the whole system. So we start off with texter. That's a communicator. That's finding a communication line where someone will talk to you. Then you go to the opening call. That's pre-screening. Would you consider doing monthly payments or talking about a discount? Then you go into the closing call, and the closing call is what if. That's the discovery stage and the proposal point to find out what the seller's willing to do. Once they say yes, the memorandum is the trigger point or the tripwire that brings us into the deal meeting. And the deal meeting is the first time we talk about the house. The deal meeting is where we start worrying about the real estate, prior to that, we were only worried about the motivation of the seller. We didn't care about it. So we were only looking at the math and the motivation of the seller to see if it would mathematically make sense and if the seller will let us or give us enough time to make it all equal, make it all one. So if you pay $30,000 over market value, do you have enough time to let the equity catch up to you so you can make money?
Right.
So once you get to the deal meeting, that's when you start doing your due diligence. That's when you start worrying about, is the property worth $300,000? Is it dysfunctional? Is it a good neighborhood? AKA everything that we just talked about comes down to this comment. How popular will it be with your buyers?
Right.
Is it a pretty house? Is it an ugly house? Is it a good neighborhood? Is it a bad neighborhood? How popular will $300,000 be for this house? Right? And oh yeah, by the way, let me tell you something. All the thinker brains right now are spinning. Their heads are blowing up right now because here's the problem. You don't talk about the house. I want to make sure. I'll ask, I might talk about the house a little bit for rapport building, but I don't care about the house until I get to the deal meeting. And oh yeah, by the way, I'm going to tell you this right now. Backing up to what I just said that because I just repeated myself. The financing trumps all the real estate.
Yeah.
If you can offer a house that is not pretty and a bit dysfunctional and say to them, you could put $5,000 down and pay $1,200 a month, all that stuff goes away. All of a sudden, handyman special is no longer a problem. They'll fix the broken screen. They'll put in their own stove. They'll paint the house. They'll put in their carpets. They'll cut the grass. They'll pave the driveway. They'll do all kinds of crazy things when you could make it easy for them to get in.
That's right.
So we're not in the business of real estate. Real estate is just a device for us to write papers so we can make our money.
That's right. We're not selling it conventionally like, oh, the market won't. We're selling it to a whole different crowd of people who really appreciate the opportunity. And there's more money coming from them with the terms. They're paying a little bit more, maybe more monthly, more. Because, it doesn't really matter how much something costs because that goes on for years and years and years. What matters is if you can manage to pay for this month.
Right.
If you can pay for it this month, you're in.
Right.
Does it last 5 years, 30 years? God knows who's going to live that long. You might change your mind and move. It doesn't matter.
The concept of this is any furniture company. They were the geniuses ones that figured this out.
That was a name?
No, they were the genius ones that figured this out.
Yeah, you said
furniture companies.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Right? You go in, I see it all over the TV. You can buy furniture right now on sale and get 60 months to pay interest free.
Sure.
So let me see if I can figure this out. The couch cost $1,000 a year ago. Now all of a sudden this company decides they're going to do interest free. And now the couch is $1,400. What do you think just happened?
Yeah, they built the interest into the price.
Okay, so there you go. Let's move on because we're behind. Next one, or number 3, as I labeled it here, the deal flow and structure, which we just talked about. You're going to contact the motivated seller. You're going to discover what they want, and then use one of the 7 strategies that we've taught you to make a deal. That's the deal flow and structure. Why are you getting all convoluted into like what structure to make? If you go to flippinghousesforrookies.com, scroll all the way down to the bottom of the page, there is a Creative 101 course down there that is about $300 worth of videos that you can get for free that shows you the math. You should go through that over a weekend a couple times because there's one video for each one, plus the loan to value ratio, and you're done. At that point, once you do that, go to in the bonus section of that course, there's a thing called Lease Option Explained. It's a 5-page document. You download that 5-page document. You handwrite it about 10 times, and then you read it into your telephone and you listen to it about 20 times in your headphones while you're working and while you're working out or while you're doing whatever you do. Don't do it during sex, though, okay? Because that would be distraction. But everything else you can do it. Do it while you're going to the bathroom, while you're exercising, whatever. I'm being sarcastic.
No comment.
Yeah. So the point is that if you watch those videos and you handwrite that document 10 times, and then you listen to yourself read it about 20, listen to yourself in the headphones about 20 times, and you make a phone call, you will be amazed at how you just automatically, just like a football player that's practiced his play 10,000 times, and then it happens on the field, his muscle reaction will just happen.
Yep.
And when you get on the phone after doing what I'm telling you, your mind muscle reaction will just happen, and you'll hang up and say, holy shit, I didn't even know I knew that.
Yeah. I said the right things. He said this. I responded correctly with that.
Right.
You won't do this? Well, how about that? Oh, you would do that? Okay, here's how it works.
Wait a minute. Stop the press. You're telling me that
trigger.
I'm short circuit. You mean I don't have to spend $30,000? I don't have to buy another course for $3,000 to learn all this? I just gave it to you for free. But because it's for free, you don't believe it's valuable.
Yeah.
There you go. And your real estate between your ears is off, not mine. Okay. Number 4. 3 is a good amount of deals to handle all at once. Usually more than that, most get overwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I like 15
Mm-hmm.
personally, because I remember the day you asked me that question.
Yeah, how many can you deal? Because when I started, like 1 was too much.
Right.
3 sounds like a good number for me right about now. One of these, one of those.
Right. The point is that too often what happens is you get your first deal, you shut off the marketing, you don't pay attention to it, you stop making your phone calls, you do your deal, let's say it's a rehab or retail or a slot deal, so for the next 2 or 3 weeks, you're trying to figure out what to do, and you shut off your outflow. And then you do your deal and you make your money, and that's cool. Except you get to the end and you're like, oh, shit, I got to start all over again. And it takes you another 8 months to find a deal.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's called booms and depressions. So you have a lot of money, you have no money. You have a lot of money, you have no money. And you're not going to be able to quit your job doing that. You need consistency. You need money every month.
Yeah.
Okay? All right.
Take a breath.
So we're 42 minutes into this podcast, and the next 20 minutes is the entire podcast that I have just been prepping you to get to, because this is where my mind is at. And I tell you with so much respect, I'm doing this podcast because, number 1, it's on the airwaves and it's public, and number 2, everything that I do gets transcribed and they're stored, and I'm hoping someday in the future somebody will read this, one of my heirs, and say, oh my God, that is so genius. Because I'm going to tell you, after doing hundreds and hundreds of deals and talking to thousands and thousands of sellers, what I'm about to teach you is so simple, it's pathetic, but it is the magic of the business. This is what you need. This is what you need, and it's the power of 3.
Okay.
And you've heard it, and you're going to think it's too simple, and you're going to think, oh, you're going to tune me out because you're going to think that I've said it too much. I can't say it enough, because this is the magic of the business. How about deal structure math?
How about what?
Deal structure math.
Yeah.
Money now, money monthly, money later.
Yeah.
The most simplest theory, yet most powerful way to structure deals for early retirement, debt reduction, and wealth. Watch this. Money now means you can pay those ugly debts, get a new car, go on vacation, whatever your heart desires. The point is, you choose what to do with these chunks of dough.
Hey, Bill, you want to know funny? Boys and girls at home, listen. This is Pete the Rookie. Bill helped me so that last year I paid my debts, tons of them, bought my wife a car, and took the summer off. I did exactly what you just said. So he ain't boys and girls, he ain't just talking. I've done it.
Oh, I'm going to embarrass Peter, but it took him 70 years to figure that out.
Hey.
Seriously.
Well, honestly, all those years, I wish I'd started this earlier. When I tried a few times, but I didn't have the right mentor, and how am I going to pay for that? And I didn't have all the tools yet, and I was very busy doing other things. But all the things that I learned over those years put me in a position where I'm here on the other side of the screen with this man. A lot of other people want to be, and they're not.
Yep.
And sooner would have been better, but better late than never. But all those skills added up to where I can pull this off. I wish I was doing better at it, and I don't give up. I'm going to work harder at it and smarter at it. We're going to talk some more after this. We're going to find a better way and all that stuff. Apply what you just said, but it all adds up to the skills. So, and my suggestion to you listening, if you think you can't do some part of this, I don't like talking to people, go do a damn communication course like I did.
Yeah.
You don't like to read, take a damn study course like I did. Go take all those things you can't do and go fix them and be good at everything you do. Pile it up and you'll be able to do whatever you want. Amen. End of story.
The biggest struggle I had with you, or you had with me, and this is how we help one another, is keeping life out of our business. The distractions of our life, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right. So that was money now. Let's do money monthly.
Yep.
Money monthly means you fire your boss. The trick is, if you need $4,000 a month to live, you then get $6,000 a month in positive income from your properties. So there's a $2,000 per month cushion to cope with the weirdnesses, like non-payment, broken houses, or just plain old reserves. Which, by the way, notice I put reserves in the weirdnesses because not many people do that. That's weird.
Well, it's a very simple, I don't know what to call it, philosophy, but when you plan what your life is going to do and how much it's going to cost, you never plan on things going bad. No one ever plans on something breaking, like your leg or your car or the house. No one plans on bad stuff. We plan on everything right. But stuff happens. So, and you don't plan on that. So you have to figure a certain percentage over your plan because something will happen. That's all it is.
Yep.
That's all. Think
about this. If you had 12, so people are always talking about, I want to be a millionaire, I want to be rich, I want to retire early. Just think about this. If that's where your head is, I want to pay my debt, I want to do all that. Just think about this. And I wrote this in an email the other day. And when I wrote it, I read it about 5 times, and I'm like, holy crap. Think about this. If you had 12 houses, each paying you $500 per month in cash flow, which for us is low, you'd earn $6,000 per month. Question is, how long before you can get those 12 properties?
Yep.
1 year, 6 years, 12 years. So 1 year would be 1 a month. 6 years would be 2 a year. 12 years would be 1 a year. How serious are you? How much do you believe in yourself that you can get those 12 properties? And that should be your goal after today's podcast.
You know what? Believe in yourself.
Yep.
Because we've all seen many systems, whether it's selling vitamins, selling this or that, and networking and all that. And somebody always makes it work, and most people don't. So who's at fault there? The system or you making it work? So you have to believe in yourself and make the system work. And when it doesn't, go fix it until it does. And believe in yourself.
Yep. Money later means you retire. That's your retirement program. Once you start stacking up 30 grand to 100 grand in equity or profit, because equity and profit are synonymous, in each deal, it doesn't take long to live comfortably.
Yeah.
I'm going to divert for a second. Give me 1 second. I'm going to go to my software. I didn't write this down. I should have, but I didn't think about it till just now. I want to read you an email that I wrote the other day.
Yeah, I just read your last couple. Let's see which one you got for me.
So it's called, the email was sent on July 12th. It's called Creative Real Estate Movie Time.
Yeah.
Right. So as humans, we all like a good movie, right? Why is that? Truth is, it is how we think. Watch this. Think of a cat. Good. Now think of a very expensive car. Picture a crate of $100 bills. A hot person you know. See, your mind does not think of symbols, digits, or even feelings. It uses pictures. And guess what? They are not often still pictures, but instead movies, like going to the big screen. But your mind came to us for free at birth. So we don't value it as much as we should. However, we must know this very important fact. Your mind is supporting your goals or talking you out of them. So your mind is either supporting your goals or talking you out of them. And you actually get to decide. Just like when you turn on the TV, you get to decide what channel you want to watch.
Yeah.
So the question should be, how do you shut off the movie you are playing in your head working against your goals? The quick answer, passion. Going a little deeper, it's time, greed, and greed is you know what you want, and logic. And when I say logic, I mean gain, then logic, then fear is usual. If you make sure your goals have these in your movie, you will start to get emotional, and that shuts off the anti-goal movies, or as I say, puts them to rest. Don't let the commercials during your movie distract you. And here's the reason why I'm reading this to you right now. Let's do an example. Here we go. I want to retire early. Your movie should be you collecting money now, money monthly, money later.
Yep.
Picture you having done 12 deals already, and you have about $100,000 in a reserve account from the deposits. And how much you like your new car you just paid for. You pay cash for. It is the first of the month, and you just checked your bank account, and there was $6,000 deposited in it, and you only need $4,000 to pay your bills this month. Plus, you have a closing this month that will bring you $110,000. So now you need to start thinking about paying off one of the other mortgages so you can get more cash flow or buy another property. At this point in your movie, you start to think about how grateful you are for this new lifestyle you have and how little you work. Now you drift off into thinking about how you spend your days. You will notice you start to get warm and tingly, possibly serene and very peaceful. Nice, right? The secret, the more you watch this movie, the better chances of it coming true. I didn't make this up. I just do it myself and it works. Take a minute now, close your eyes, and play your movie. There you go.
That's very good. And that's based on some very, very rock solid philosophy behind all that. See,
I didn't invent it. I just practice it.
Yeah, no, I know what you're talking about. You don't make this stuff up. It's just these are successful things that we found and we use.
Okay, now I want to get to the meat and potatoes of this podcast.
What was the rest of that stuff? Appetizers?
The bold promise of changing your life.
Okay.
The most dangerous number in creative real estate or any business or in any activity in anything you do in life is 1. Thank you, Dan Kennedy, for teaching me this.
And Harry Nilsson for writing the song, 1 is the loneliest number.
There you go. Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, that's a song.
Now listen to this. Listen to this, because I'm gonna stay here for the next couple minutes, and then we're gonna probably wind down. If it is just you trying to find one seller or one deal with free courses and materials, and only one way to deal hunt or find leads, and think you are going to concentrate on one type of deal structure, like wholesaling, you will lose every time, no exceptions. I figured this out, Peter. I'm going to say this again, and then I'm going to come back to what I was just going to tell you. I figured this out, and this is the reason why I write this right now and I read it to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was perplexed and couldn't figure it out, and I figured it out. If it is just you trying to find one seller or one deal with free courses and materials, and only one way to deal hunt or find deals,
Mm-hmm.
and think you're going to concentrate on one type of deal structure like wholesaling,
Yeah.
you will lose every time, no exceptions.
Mm.
I was astonished because for some reason the last couple months, whatever I've been doing, I hear a lot. I've been asking different questions, especially on my one-on-one coaching interviews, because I give a 45-minute. I'm down to only doing it 2 or 3 times a week now. I was doing it 5 or 6, but I'm only down to a couple times a week now because of my time. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm surprised at how many people are telling me that we did a survey. I think we did. I don't know. I forgot. It was over 50, not quite 100 names. It was quite a bit, 70, 80 names, something like that, right? And the survey said that a lot of our listeners and a lot of our people are like 7, 8 years, 10 years trying to figure out how to do a deal and haven't done a deal yet. And it was like, why is that? I've given you all the stuff. This is the reason why. Because they're using the number 1. They are trying to find a deal, one deal.
Mm.
They're trying to use free materials in stuff like this podcast, which is a great podcast. I get reviews on it all the time, right? But this podcast is not enough for you to make. I mean, you might get lucky with one deal. I'm going to go over that in a minute,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah, we've had people. They sent us, hey, I bought a few houses from what you said.
But it's not going to be consistent. It's not a business in the box.
That's Jimi Hendrix and the Beatles. It doesn't happen all the time,
right? So they're trying to get free materials and learn how to do one type of a deal, looking for that one buyer. They're dealing in the number 1. I just need to do this. I just need to figure this out. And they may go a year trying to figure that out. Now, like I said, you might find a deal, make a chunk of dough, pay some debt, toss it around and tell everybody how you're rich, Peter.
Stop it.
Maybe do some clever stuff with it. But the worst thing in the world will happen to you. The money will disappear, and you'll spend months, perhaps years, trying to replace that one deal. And no deal is the same as the other deal. Every deal is different, but you're trying to replace that one deal, the number 1, that one deal. You're trying to replicate it.
Hey, Bill, there's a phrase for that. I don't know if you've ever run across this. We read some of the same books. Stuck in a win.
There you go.
Yeah, you had a win, you're stuck there, and you keep trying to do that. Like this one girl you met, and you lost her, only trying to find that one girl again. Nope.
You spent a lifetime doing it, right? And maybe you will do 1 or 2 more deals, but I know this for sure. You won't have constant income. You won't retire early and make your fortune without implementing the power of 3 as we spoke of today. The most important thing I want to tell you, this is like the most advanced thing. It's taken me literally 21 years. And I'm telling you right now, the reason why this is so powerful to me is because I stopped doing this and it cost me success. And I'm in the middle of working on it in my own life and didn't even know it until I wrote this podcast.
Wow.
I'm taking my own advice right now. Okay.
What's that?
The most important thing, which is the reason why when you ask about why did I write this Power of 3, I'm bleeding my feelings right now to all of our listeners, to thousands and thousands of listeners.
Mm-hmm.
The most important thing you can do in creative real estate is make offers. That is the most important thing. I don't want to discredit that.
Yeah.
But the second most important thing you can do is make yourself accountable.
Ooh.
Probably the best advice I can give you, and most will not do it, is what Napoleon Hill says about masterminding, the concept of masterminding. Okay?
Yeah.
I'm going to come off script again because the rest of it I'm not going to read. I want you to understand where this came from.
Yeah.
Like I said, I'm in this other coaching group. And the other coach is trying to help these people.
Mm-hmm.
And I notice the same question keeps coming up over several coaching groups, which, by the way, it's only every other week. So this is like probably a month or two.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same guy. And he whines and drones. And it's like listening to my 4-year-old grandson. I kid you not. I'm being mean. I just can't get out of bed in the morning. I got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning to do the calls, and I just can't force myself. And I go through this, and I go through that, and I go through this, and I go through that, and I psych myself up, and I read my affirmations, and I read this book, and I did this, and I did that, and I did this, and I did that. And it just goes on and on and on. And this guy is not the only guy. I've heard this with my coaching clients. I have coaching clients that have been in my coaching group for 7 years and have not done a deal yet. Not there's only a few of them. And I allow them to be there because they were one of the core members. Otherwise, I probably would have got rid of them. And I like them.
Yeah. Well, you want to see them have a win too, don't you?
Yeah. So here's what I said. And there's 3 of them. One's a husband and wife team. And the other one's a single person. He's like in his mid-20s.
Yeah.
They live in different states. I said, you know what you got? I got passionate about it. In fact, anyways, I think I probably got too passionate about it because now the guy that I do coaching for was asking me if I was all right. So here's the point that I made. What happened is I was very loud about what you guys need to do is you need to help one another. You need to get on a phone call. So what they decided to do was they had, I'm just going to read it. We had several guys not doing anything. We put them in a group of 3 and had them call each other once a day, preferably before they started doing their work.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like a staff huddle.
Yeah.
They told their teammates what they were going to do that day and then had to report the next day to the teammates on whether or not they got it done.
A little peer pressure, huh?
In 2 weeks, they brought 3 deals to the coaching call. And they had not done nothing for a year.
It's amazing.
You could do this in my Let's Talk Real Estate group. Mm-hmm. You need to gang up. You need to stop being number 1. You need to stop doing one thing. You need the power of 3. The masterminding concept. I could tell you, I can go through my life. The best parts of my life is when there was me and 2 other people doing something.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't even know this until a few years back.
Yep.
I mean, I'm talking about was 20 years ago. I didn't know about Napoleon Hill back then. Mm-hmm. Right? Had no idea who he was. I knew Dan Kennedy, psycho-cybernetics. I knew Hubbard from Dianetics, right? But they were not what taught me this. It was Napoleon Hill and the masterminding. Mm-hmm. The power of 3. If you were in a group of 3, and you don't even, by the way, need to have like a business or be partners or anything.
No, just help each other.
Just have levels of magnitude. Mm-hmm. Levels of magnitude. In other words, if you've done no deal, then maybe get somebody that's done 1 deal.
Right? Yeah. We call that, if you're going to get in a band with somebody that's a little bit better than you. Mm-hmm. And then you find somebody to pull up, somebody less than you, and pull them up. So you got to keep it even, folks. Don't just take.
So there's one that's a little better than you and one that's a little lesser than you. Mm-hmm. Because I'm going to tell you some of the best training I did in my life is when I had to help somebody else learn what I just did. Mm-hmm. By the way, I made this this cursory comment, and then we're going to end off. I made this cursory comment that if you want to learn something, the best way to do it is to read something, think you understand it, and then try to describe it to a 12-year-old kid.
Yeah, in English.
So they understand it. And that'll make you realize that you understand it. Right? It'll make you realize that you don't understand it because you can't explain it.
Bill, I was at the beach yesterday, and there's a father getting mad at his 4 or 5-year-old kid because he's running around, not watching where he's going. He said to the kid, "You got to watch. You got to be more coherent." The kid was looking at him. I just kept walking. What the hell are you talking about, coherent? The kid doesn't know what you're talking about. Oh, God. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, that's all.
I was just going to say that's all. I have nothing else to say. So please make sure you subscribe to us wherever you're watching us or listening to us. By the way, I've been blowing up my YouTube channel. There's a bunch of stuff on YouTube. I have hundreds of videos on YouTube, so that's where I suggest you go. First is go to YouTube. Make sure you subscribe on my YouTube channel. Facebook, we live stream to Facebook. I hardly ever go on Facebook anymore. For the second time, they have banned me from Marketplace because I was trying to sell a house, and I have some choice words for Mr. Zuckerberg that I will not choose to put on this family show. And I can promise you that the F word is the lightest of the words I can use to describe Mr. Zuckerberg. He's a scumbag, and I hope he hears me because he's a scumbag. His company sucks. And there you go.
Yeah.
So, because I've not done anything wrong. I'm trying to find a family that cannot get a bank loan and give them a house that they normally wouldn't be able to buy. And his robots are telling me I did something wrong and won't let me do that.
And you can't even talk to somebody, right?
And I can't even, they won't even tell me what I did wrong.
Yeah, you can't talk to somebody to find out what it is and straighten it out. It's like guilty, no defense, no evidence, no witnesses, just sorry.
So I'm not into the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain, and I can't talk to him.
No.
So there you go. All right, folks, make sure you subscribe to us. Make sure you leave us a review. If you have questions, go to Flipping Houses for Rookies. And don't forget the link in the chat, or I just keep saying the chat, in the description where I'm talking to you right now. There's a link there with some cool stuff. And I put in there the retirement plan that I have, how to retire early. Okay? Over and out. We'll talk to you on the next podcast.
Thanks for tuning in to the hottest real estate topics on the planet with Bill and Pete. If you want to continue learning how to buy and sell real estate without money or credit, head over to flippinghouses.club for some cutting-edge real estate wealth tools. Or contact us at info@flippinghouses.club.